Peace and Elevation family. It's your boy Drew from Nora, the living survival manual. Here to teach you different ways to see your greatness by investing in yourself.
Supreme peace and constant elevation. Supreme peace and constant elevation. Elevation. See your greatness. You know it. Feel the pressure sitting on your shoulders from the weight of it all. Struggling to see yourself become what you believe in. All the concentration leaves you falling flat upon your face. Competing outwardly within the hamster wheel of the rat race. Society calls for you to be constricted, bound to the vision of the light they want you living. Success measured by the other people's agenda to stick you in comparison to the 1% of the winners. But you see, life is what you make it. Supreme peace and constant elevation. With some prayer and application. It's about time you see your greatness. It's about time that you see your greatness. It's about time you see your greatness. Supreme peace and constant elevation. It's about time you see your greatness. You know it. SYG. See your greatness. And DSV.
Looking to enhance your brand or develop skills that build meaningful connections? See Your Greatness Studios is Richmond's leading platform for content creation, brand development, and personal growth. We provide creators, entrepreneurs, and professionals with essential tools and resources, from photography to podcasting to mentorship and more. Explore how we can support your journey and help you achieve and sustain excellence.
If you smell what the rock is cooking.
Yes, Zersky. Peace, love, and light is the God, Lord Christopher, man, the living survival manual. And I'm back with another one. Remember, someone has to see your greatness. Why not start with yourself? Stay blessed. Always finesse. Definitely trust the most high process. The truest keys to success. And we back, baby.
What the rock is cooking.
We finally back with another podcast video. I appreciate everybody who has constantly been tapping in with See Your Greatness podcast, man. We are constantly running it up and doing our thing over here. Definitely take the time to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you are rocking with the vibes. We've been here doing it for quite a while now, man. I believe we're on podcast. Let's go. I know this is podcast 80. I believe this is podcast number 80. Hold on. I just like had a cross reference because I've been putting out so much content, man, that sometimes it gets a little all drawn in together. Running two different channels on YouTube can get crazy, man. It can get a little crazy sometimes. We're on episode 82. We're actually on episode 82. Dang, I already done 80. We almost at 100 videos, dog. We're literally almost at 100 videos, dog. Like, I'm proud of myself, man. I'm really proud of myself, dog. Let's get it if you smell what the rock is cooking in here for that.
What the rock is cooking.
So today, man, we're actually on episode 82, and I feel like this was a perfect moment and a perfect time to talk about a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. Definitely are two things that are important to study and important to understand, because one is keeping you stuck, and one is going to be the reason why you elevate in life. So I felt like that was a perfect segue from last episode in which we talked about the dollar hustle story, and where I went down the line, as far as my journey and how I started this entrepreneurial journey, this business mindset, things of that nature, and what it really took for me to get here 82 episodes in. You feel what I'm saying? So we're gonna definitely tap in with that episode, but first, you already know we got to get into our disclaimer before I give any knowledge. I need people to understand, like, hold on, do your own research, you hear me? The vibes here at SYG Studios are to motivate, educate, and enlighten our people to achieve greatness through seeking new ways to invest in themselves. Everything is high level. What we think, what we say, how we feel, and definitely how we act. But before we even get into the energy, take the time to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We love engagement over here and understand that a village pushes the trend, not just one individual. So the support is much appreciated. Also, take the time to visit the link right here down below. Visit that link right there down below, man. Join the SYG community on all social platforms. Book a one-on-one consultation to obtain personal guidance and much more. You can tap into the merchandise that we got dropping. Definitely dropping some new fitteds. Definitely dropping some new shirts, hoodies, things of that nature. You can actually tap in on the website again, or scan this QR code over here on this side as well to tap into the merchandise website. And also, I just reopened SYG Prints. If anybody is looking to get their own custom merchandise made, holla at your boy, man. We do it all over here at SYG Studios. Our aim is to not only grow the brand, but reach at least 5 million individuals who want and need and are seeking the knowledge to live a more abundant life. Now, with all the information being provided, again, I have to send out this quick disclaimer. Please take the time to do your own research. It's very, very vital, family. My content is intended to be used for motivational purposes only. Always do your own analysis based on your own current circumstances. Now, all together, this is my favorite part. Now, all together, let's get into our God body energy. You feel me? With a quick prayer. Y'all ready? All right, let's get it. Dear Lord, rule over my example so that I can walk in righteousness. Dear Lord, rule over my experiences so that I may walk in peace and worry not. Dear Lord, rule over my expressions so I can show the world the joy of the Lord is my strength. Dear Lord, allow us all to see our greatness and live more abundant than ever. And in Christ's name, Holy Spirit, Yahweh, it is so. Let's get cooking, baby.
What the rock is cooking.
All right. That was like the Matrix.
And it was. So today we're going to tap in about a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. But first we got to ask the question, what is mindset, right? And you already know we like to go to our handy dandy Google notebook, and we're going to type in what is mindset. You know, we're going to go over the actual definition of it. All right. And as you see, a mindset is the collection of beliefs, attitudes, and assumptions that form a person's mental outlook, influencing how they perceive, engage with, and respond to the world. Let's read that again. Sometimes we got to read it twice for the people in the back, right? A mindset is the collection of beliefs, attitudes, and assumptions that form a person's mental outlook, influencing how they perceive, engage with, and respond to the world. It acts as a lens or a filter shaping thoughts, feelings, and behaviors and choices, and can be either fixed, see right there, can be either fixed, believing abilities are static, or a growth mindset, right? Believing abilities can be developed through effort. A mindset is not permanent and it can be changed, significantly impacting one's ability to achieve goals and navigate life's circumstances. We can even go deeper in that. What a mindset is, it's a collection of beliefs, as we stated. It's a mental framework, a driver of behavior, right? Two primary types in which we're talking about today is a fixed mindset, right? Where individuals believe that their abilities, talents, and intelligence are fixed traits and cannot be changed. Success is seen as a result of innate talent alone, to where versus you have this growth mindset, right? The one that I like to live in. Individuals believe or know that their talents and abilities can be developed through dedication, effort, and persistence. They view challenges as opportunities to learn and grow. And then you also got why it matters, right? Why mindsets matter. Because it shapes your reality. Mindsets powerfully create your perceived reality and influence the outcomes you experience. It impacts your success. Your mindset plays a pivotal role in whether you achieve your goals, right? And it also offers potential for change. A significant aspect of mindset is that it is not permanent and it can be transformed to foster more positive and productive approaches to life. Now, I also want to raise another question to you guys. What mindset do you think I had to utilize for me to even start this podcast? Which one do you think I had to develop for me to even begin this entrepreneur journey? Which one do you think I had to step into so that I can see my spiritual, mental, and physical growth? I'm just saying, sometimes you have to see the difference in things for you to truly understand it, right? And that's why I always attempt and ensure that I bring visuals or I give you information. Not only just give you information, I try to give you a story or a relatable experience behind it, right? And the reason I wanted to talk about a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset is because I'm not gonna lie, family, sometimes I get stagnant in my own mind. Even when you're growing, when you grow, that doesn't mean that you won't go through challenges, you won't go through hard times, you won't go through struggle, right? I always like to take things from the world that we can essentially relate to. For instance, nature, right? Trees are like one of my favorite things in nature to observe, because just like human beings, they have to come from a seed and go through their own growth, right, of growing their roots and then growing their stump to be strong so that it can then become a fully blown tree with branches, some with just leaves, some that bear fruit, right? But in the midst of all of that becoming, in the midst of all of that growing, a tree doesn't have the ability to have a fixed mindset. Like it doesn't have the ability to say, you know what, I don't want to grow today. Now, it can be cut down, it can be shaven, it can be hit by lightning, it can be hit by fire, it can be destroyed and perish. However, for some reason, it always grows back, sometimes even stronger, right? And I like to relate that to a growth mindset because it always is looking for a way to walk in its true essence, right? God designed it for a few things, but it designed it to do what it's supposed to do, right? Just like the Most High designed birds to do what they're supposed to do, or fruit to do what it's supposed to do for the human body and when we consume it. These things all come from a growth mindset. If we had a fixed mindset, or if these things had fixed mindsets, they would never reproduce new fruit. They would never grow into stronger trees, right? The birds would never continue to go through flight school, teaching the younger generation of birds that's coming up to learn how to fly far distances. Like, all of these things have growth mindsets. The difference between us and them is distractions. We usually get distracted by a lot of things. We usually get distracted in the storm. We usually get distracted in the obstacles. We usually get distracted in the challenges that it keeps us from thinking that we can push forward through that valley. But that's not true, right? The more you go through pain, the more you go through struggle, right? The more you go through these things are a challenge or quote unquote difficult for you, guess what? You come out stronger. You come out better. You come out smarter. Right? You're able to now give this wisdom and knowledge to the next generation so that they can then step into understanding. Because you had to once go through all of those things so that you can become the person that you are today. And all of that has to start with analyzing whether or not you are living in a fixed mindset or whether or not you're living in a growth mindset, right? Again, let's go back over this. A fixed mindset, it's like the trap of limitation, right? Again, it believes abilities are static and unchangeable. A person with a fixed mindset avoids challenges out of fear of failure. It gives up easily, takes criticism personally, right? And common phrases that they use are, I'm just not good at this.
Ain't no fucking way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Ain't no way I can live that life. Right? Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I've never been that person. Right? I've been a person that has had a fixed mindset of believing that I couldn't do this or believing that I couldn't do that. But a lot of that belief came from me not stepping into the arena, not stepping into the skill, not stepping into the craft, not taking the time to want to sit and learn. Right? Where we live in a world where a lot of things are instant. You got instant gratification, however you want to look at it. Everything is fast food nowadays, right? You want it right then and there. You don't want to take the time to prep, cook, cut up your onions, right? Go through the struggle of, sometimes having those teary eyes because the onion is so potent. But guess what happens at the end of that process? You come up with a full meal and a full body of food that you made, that you allowed to feed yourself, feed your soul sometimes, feed your mind, feed your body, right? But a lot of that comes from having a growth mindset. A growth mindset doesn't place limits on you, right? A growth mindset knows their abilities and can be developed through effort. They know that their abilities can be developed through effort. Everything in life that we do, it has to come with some type of action. I could say all day, hey, I want to start a podcast. Hey, I want to build a t-shirt company. Hey, I want to build my own network. But if I don't actually get out here and do those things, I'll never accomplish those things. It's very simple. Right? When you're trying to distinguish these two things, especially when you're analyzing yourself to see where you are in the world or where you are in your journey. It's very simple. A growth mindset embraces challenges as growth opportunities. They don't look at it as, oh my God, I got to go to school for 4 years to learn this craft. Well, if you don't go to school for 4 years, or if you don't go learn and get certifications on a particular skill or a particular craft, how are you going to support yourself as a human being living in this human experience? Knowing that we need capital, knowing that we need skills, knowing that we need a mindset of, work ethic, things of that nature. Like, we need these things in order to survive as basic needs, right? These things aren't meant to make you feel like you're nothing. They aren't. They're actually here to help you grow, right? Like, there was a podcast that I was listening to actually today by Napoleon Hill, famous author, writer of Think and Grow Rich. And he was just talking about discipline. Discipline is the one thing that, if I had to choose one word to define what a growth mindset was, it would be discipline. Like, staying disciplined throughout everything, throughout the good, throughout the bad, right? But there was one key thing that he had said about discipline, and I was actually struggling with this the other day because, when you're in a position to where you're finally free from something that has been maybe holding your spirit back, maybe holding you back as a entrepreneur, whatever it is that's holding you back, right? Sometimes we don't know like what real freedom feels like. Freedom is when you are able to be disciplined in everything that you do, even when the bad things come knocking at your door. You still stay steady. you still stay consistent. You still stay striving for the goals and the achievements and all of these accolades, right? You still keep going. An undisciplined person, which is a fixed mindset, because a growth mindset is discipline. An undisciplined person will allow that negativity to knock on their front door. They'll let it in and then ask themselves why they are still stuck, because you won't change your environment. You won't change your mind. You won't change, period, so that you can step into something that requires you to change. Even Superman has to change into a whole new suit. He has to change into 2 different suits, actually. One to be a regular human being living and walking in this human experience as Clark Kent, and then the other is stepping into his true essence and his true power and who he truly has been called here to do, stepping into his true purpose. And when he puts on that Superman uniform, he becomes a whole different being. Those are differences. Those are the differences that I would say between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. A fixed mindset wants to stay put in a situation or a position. It doesn't challenge you because it's comfortable, right? A lot of people don't like to be uncomfortable. That's no way to live. To have to settle, knowing that you're only doing it because you feel comfortable in that space, and also because you don't want to challenge yourself out of fear that you'll fail, that's no way to live. Now, if you know that it's going to be hard, if you know that it's going to be challenging, if you know that it's going to push you to the next level, that's what you need for you to be able to step into your next level, literally. I always like to use like anime too. Like, anime is one of my favorite things, and one of my favorite animes is Dragon Ball Z. In Dragon Ball Z, everybody knows Goku, Vegeta, Super Saiyans, or Saiyans. They're a Saiyan race. If Goku had a fixed mindset of believing that he couldn't be Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4, pushing his limits, fusion, right? Getting into the hyperbolic time chamber to make his mind stronger, his body stronger, going through the pain, even when nobody was around. Do you think he would have reached those levels? Do you think he would have been able to defeat some of the most powerful enemies that came to challenge him on Earth? No. He had to go train, even when training was hurting him sometimes. He had to constantly put himself in that environment, because guess what? Even in growth mindset, as he was in, he also knew and was aware that, all right, yeah, I'm going to push myself, I'm going to train, but I also need to know when to be aware that I need to relax, chill, calm down, take a sensu bean, recharge, right? That's being in a growth mindset, allowing yourself to understand and know these different perspectives, right? Most phrases that people use with a growth mindset, I can learn how to do this. That's the path to endless possibilities. Say to yourself, I can learn how to do this. That then places power in your words. And then, continue with action. But if you're constantly telling yourself, I can't do this, I can't do that, you're making yourself powerless. You're taking energy away from yourself instead of putting it into yourself, right? That's no way to live. And truthfully, Cat Williams got something to say to you.
You having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like you.
It's not like you, man. And I'm not going to allow you to be that way. So as you're listening to this podcast today, I need you to make a decision. Either you're going to stay the same and live in a fixed mindset of believing that you can never change, or you can start stepping into a growth mindset and understanding and knowing through wisdom, knowledge, through teachings, right? Getting around a better environment, going to the gym, working out, eating a little healthier. When you start stepping into that arena, I guarantee you it'll be a whole different story. Come holler at me next year and let me know how that worked out for you. You feel me? Let me know how that worked out for you. Here's some real life applications, fam. Creativity is one thing that you can do, right? Trying new art styles without fear can be something. Like I'm a creative. I am an artiste, right? And one thing that I think somebody challenged me to do was animation. Like I like to draw. I like to do video editing, but I never got into animation because I myself didn't want to challenge myself to get in that arena. But then somebody who had needed a resource of mine was like, hey bro, you do animation. I know you do ... but can you learn how to do animation? And I'm like, yo, maybe I should take the time to go through this app that I got downloaded on my computer. It's called Blender. It's a software that allows you to, make animated characters and things of that nature. And just take the time, like a couple hour a day, to just learn the software. And then later on, as you start to catch on, then you can build. So that's one thing I'm going to do creatively. And that's a real life application. Try a new art style without fear. In business, right? Because it's all relatable. In business, learn from failed launches or offers. You have to learn in business how to fall flat on your ass wholeheartedly and keep going. Because guess what? Not everybody's going to be a supporter. Right? Not everybody is going to be an understander and a believer of all the things that you have to offer. But as long as you stay steady, as long as you continue to go through the obstacles and the changes and the challenges and things of that nature, there's nothing, right? There's nothing that the enemy will put in your face that God won't help you overcome and prevail. And that moves us into the last real life application, which is faith-based. And that's believing and knowing that spiritual strength can grow through study and struggle. Because you got to study. You got to study the word to be able to be strong in your faith and in your spirit. You have to. There's no other way around it. You have to study the things that the Most High created in order to become more like the Most High. You have to study the Most High teachings in order to understand the Most High, the best to your abilities. There's no way around it, right? The next step that you can do, family, in order to utilize these real life applications, in order to understand a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, is you need to rewire your brain. You have to rewire your brain, right? 3 ways that you can do this, and I'm going to give you one right now. You can practice affirmations that align with growth. Again, practice affirmations that are aligned with growth. And say somebody was like, I don't really know what any affirmations are. Guess what? You can go to Google. Give me affirmations. If you must do it this way, give me affirmations that are aligned with growth. Right? And I'm going to show it right here for y'all. Affirmations for growth focus on cultivating a positive, resilient mindset, embracing challenges, and committing to continuous self-improvement. They help rewire negative thought patterns to foster greater confidence, motivation, and self-acceptance. Affirmation for embracing challenges. It's literally so easy nowadays, family, that anything that you want, anything that you need, anything that you desire, you can obtain it. Whether good or bad. something as simple as understanding what affirmations are. Having a system that can actually give you affirmations that you can either read every day off the computer or you can write them down. Affirmations for embracing challenges. Again, every challenge I face is an opportunity to learn and grow. I can do hard things and my brain gets stronger each time I work on a difficult task. Mistakes are valuable lessons that help me improve, not failures that define me. I choose to see obstacles as stepping stones on my path to success. I'm resilient and can overcome anything life throws at me. Then they got more. Some for continuous learning, some for self-compassion, some for confidence and action, tips for growth, focused affirmations. It goes on and on and on, family. You feel what I'm saying? There's literally no excuse to change your mindset nowadays, if that's something that you want to do. Now, for the individuals who don't want to change where they are in life, not talking to you. This discussion is not for you. Actually, you don't even have to stay here. Video done. But for those who are looking for a change, those who need the motivation, for those who desire and yearn for knowledge and things of that nature that is going to catapult them to the next level, this is for you. Everything that you need right now is at your fingertips, literally. All you gotta do is replace I can't with I haven't mastered this yet, right? And even if we want to study the word, you can study scriptures like Hebrews 12, 1 through 3 to renew your mindset. Let's go there, right? Let's go there. Let's type in Hebrews 12, 1 through 3. And this talks about perseverance, right? Hebrews 12, 1 through 3 calls Christians to run the race of faith with perseverance by shedding hindrances, resisting sin, and focusing on Jesus' example. The passage draws on the Hall of Faith in the previous chapter, which recounts the stories of faithful people in the Old Testament who endured trials and demonstrated their trust in God. Now let's actually read the actual scripture if we want. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles. And let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. This is how you can rewire your brain so that you can continue the path into a growth mindset. You don't think Yeshua had to go through challenges? You don't think he went through pain and struggle? I mean, the words in the book show that he did. The movies show that he did. Whether you want to take it that far or not. But guess what? He kept going. Guess what? He kept praising. Guess what? He kept worshiping. Guess what? He is now exalted across the world as the pioneer of faith, as the pioneer of growing and becoming, going off and studying in different places, coming back, learning and teaching. And he was criticized for it. But guess what? It don't matter what people say, because there are gonna people in your ear saying, oh, he's changed. He's different. He's not the same. That's good. Because in life, we gotta go through what? Different seasons. So if the earth itself can show you that it goes through different changes to whether detox itself or to renew itself, what makes you think you don't? What makes you think you don't? So let's shift our mindset, and here are a few tools, and we out of here. Daily journaling prompts on effort and learning is a must. Surround yourself with others who embody growth and challenge yourself. And I'll give you one right now. Reframe one failure as fuel for growth today. Again, reframe one failure as fuel for growth today. You can do it, fam. I know you can. If I can do it, you can do it. If you can do it, I can do it. If we can do it, we all can do it. But we got to just keep on pursuing it. We got to keep on putting ourselves in the arena. We got to keep on picking ourselves up by our bootstraps, no matter how hard it is. Why? Because the Most High loves you. Why? Because I love you and I want to see you succeed. Why? Because I'm going to keep doing it, and hopefully I can be an inspiration to you as well. So what you going to do, fam? You feel me? What you going to do? For me, I know what I'm going to do.
If you smell what the rock is cooking,
I'm going to keep on cooking, baby. Look, man, I appreciate y'all. Remember, someone has to see your greatness. Why not start with yourself? Stay blessed, always finesse. Definitely trust the Most High's process. Truest keys to success. That's the only way. That's the only way, man. That's the only way, man. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. We all tied in. We're going to double back again. Probably drop another one on Thursday. Y'all continue to tap into the brand, man. All you got to do is hit that link right there. Or scan that QR code right there to tap in, man. Again, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Until next time, we all tied in, man. Peace.